does it with honor, his head always held up high. His reverence for God and respect for his country is seen every day of his life. Trustworthy and loyal, helpful and kind, strong in body and mind. You'll find them all there, I don't have a doubt, deep in the heart of a scout.
A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Find them all there, I don't have a doubt, deep in the heart of a scout.
You've heard about the Boy Scouts all of your lives. Today we invite you to examine the genius of how this old idea can help your church, its youth program, and the servant leadership growth of your children. I'm an elder and an educator who is deeply concerned about the spiritual, moral, and ethical training of our children. In the early years of Scouting, Churches of Christ often chartered packs and troops. Over time, we dropped our interest in this ready-made youth program. But we haven't found a method better than the Scouting program for the teaching of leadership and ethical decision-making in today's misguided culture. Your church can own a Scouting unit, embedded in your youth ministry, control its adult leadership and policies, and provide your youth with opportunities to become leaders. This will help your young people to grow in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Research data says values are best etched into a boy's life through a combination of an effective Sunday school and a strong Scout program. Churches often discover that their Scout program is one of the congregation's most effective outreach tools. Listen to these leaders, parents, and young men from Scout troops owned by Churches of Christ from across the country. Scouting works in Churches of Christ.
The spiritual growth of young men is certainly a very big part of the Scouting program.
The 12th point of the Scout Law is a Scout is reverent, and that is one of the most important Scout laws we emphasize in our troop.
The Scout Law and the Scout Oath, they back up what the Bible says.
You have this Bible-based foundation. Everybody comes together in order to raise that child.
Scouting's helped me be a better Christian because of the morals in Scouting.
We take it on a religious level, that it's a very spiritual thing, just in that you're doing good. You're not preaching, but you're doing good stuff. You're kind, and you're showing all those values and your behavior in that level.
And we want everybody to realize there is a God and what God means to us. So we take our opportunities when we get them to bring it up.
Certainly as a congregation, we have an obligation to reach out to the community. So many times we get tied up in what can we do across the ocean, what can we do in another country. We fail to look in our own backyard, and certainly the children of our community is one of the finest and most noble efforts that we could have as a congregation.
That it is a form of outreach, and that maybe the kids will get to know other kids that go to church, and maybe if they don't go to church, it'll be a way in the door for them to say, hey, why don't you come to church with me sometime? And we're already friends with Scouts, and now I can take you to this, and our youth group does all these things.
We have a number of Scouts that come from single-parent families, and Scouting is so good for them. It gives them the male role model and a measure of adventure and education and fun that they probably wouldn't otherwise get.
And they're around some boys and some leaders who are good role models. And Scouting, of course, always emphasizes God.
I believe that my son decided to be a Christian because of this program.
The principles of Scouting encourage us to be more like Christ, and to know how to be more like Christ, we have to study the Bible.
We participate in Bible lessons and devos regularly, and that helps me to be a better Bible student in real life.
All of our campouts, they go through Sunday, and so we do a full worship service on Sunday mornings. We have a actual church service, that we have Bible class, and One of the things that's really important to me since I've been baptized is taking communion.
The boys who are Christians lead the worship and participate in the worship. And we feel like that is very important.
We have a boy that is appointed chaplain in our troop, and he's in charge of getting all the scriptures and singing together and get the boys involved with the service.
The worship service at our campouts helps me to be more prepared to be a leader in my church at home.
When we develop scouts, we develop leaders. We develop people from the church who are going to be strong from the heart.
I've watched my son go from a youngster, child, I want to say a child, to practically a young man in just a matter of years.
Someone told me a long time ago the best way to keep your kids out of trouble was to keep them busy. And I think if you can keep them busy with good, wholesome, healthy stuff like, youth group at church and then scouts on top of that, the church is just continuing to motivate and to reinforce and push those things that are important for kids.
It's a youth ministry, and it's a very important ministry. What it does is it takes young men and develops leadership skills and involvement. What better way to enhance any church ministry than to work with the Boy Scouts?
Men and women who are interested in truly making a difference in the lives of these young adults. Those are the things that the congregation needs to look for and see, is that what they really want to offer to their community?
It's a good way to be with your son if you're able to be involved. That's something I really enjoy and treasure the time that I get to spend with my son like this.
I think Scouts is important because I think it gets the kids focused on what's really important, the outdoors, being with friends, not video games and going to the mall. I think it puts their focus on taking care of each other, themselves, building personal responsibility, independence.
The Boy Scout troop is based on boy leadership. The boys are trained to be leaders of their own organization with the adult support. Boy leaders is the key to a good active Scout troop.
The boys do it. You encourage them and you're their support team, but they do this by themselves.
The troop leaders are members of the church, and I think that's really helped me because I can consider them as role models, and I look up to them a lot.
And not only are we brothers in scouting, but we're Christian brothers.
There again, it just reinforces the values that you want your children to have. You trust that when they're going off that's going to be continued.
The greatest satisfaction I ever had in being in scouting was going on a high adventure trip with a young boy and bringing him back to his mother, and she told me, "You took my boy and brought me back a man."
He's a scout, he's proud to say, he's a scout, he's proud to say.
Yes, as you have seen, scouting works in Churches of Christ. When you agree to charter a scout unit, you're enlisting the help of the Boy Scouts of America, as you would the help of any other developer of youth programs. You owe it to the youth of your church and community to thoroughly check out scouting today. The church, or a committee of members of the church, will own the scouting unit. The positive values of scouting will complement the purposes and goals of your congregation. A district executive from your local Boy Scout Council is ready to assist you and explain how to start and maintain a troop or other unit. The trustees of members of Churches of Christ for Scouting are also ready to assist you in starting your new ministry. This group of volunteers provides a ministry training program for youth and adults, which is recognized by the Boy Scouts of America. The religious programs are called Joyful Servant, Good Servant, and Faithful Servant. As a church leader, I assure you that scouting works in Churches of Christ.
Loyal, obedient, trustworthy, and he's brave. Does a good turn daily, salutes the flag he raised. He's a scout.